Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery. Inspiring luxury. West Bay Pharmacy. Taking care of your health. And JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctor's Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital. Always there for you. Call 949-6066. And the Ministry of Sustainability and Climate Resiliency. Visit energy.gov.ky or follow the National Energy Policy on Facebook and Instagram. And by the STEPS 2023 National Health Survey. Visit gov.ky/steps to learn more.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you. For the record. Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett Connor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees. So fair. Today, folks, is the 28th, Friday, the 28th day of April 2023, right here in the beautiful Cayman Islands. We hope and we trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening. Those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, whether you're a pedestrian, cyclist, or operating any type of motorized vehicle, we urge you to please, 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 please be extremely cautious. Ensure that you observe the rules of the road. Remember, by so doing, the life you save may just be your own. For those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, we want to wish you a happy birthday, or if you've celebrated a birthday over the past few days, a belated happy birthday as well. And to remind you that the For the Record birthday shoutouts are proudly brought to you by life insurance agent Michael Webster from Cayman Insurance Center. Live your best life and make sure your family can too, is his advice given to you today. The birthday shoutouts are also brought to you by More Than Words, your gateway to local books and more. Connect to your culture, tap into your roots. More Than Words, located on the second floor of the Thompson Building. For those of you who have lost loved ones, we want to extend our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these extremely challenging times, and that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing to you. Those of you who are ill and are either at home or at a medical facility here in the Cayman Islands or overseas, we wish you a speedy recovery. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension, For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Orrett Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, our phone lines are open, and again this morning it is that beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson waiting to take your calls. You can call us on our toll-free number, provide courtesy of Flow, that toll-free number 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. Email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord at candw.ky. WhatsApp us 925-3261. Follow us on YouTube by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream, and we are on Facebook as well. And to remind you that this segment of the For the Record, the birthday shoutouts are proudly brought to you by life insurance agent Michael Webster from Cayman Insurance Center. Live your best life and make sure your family can too, is his advice to you. And also, Birthday shout-outs are brought to you by More Than Words, your gateway to local books and more. Connect to your culture, tap in to your roots. More Than Words, located on the second floor of the Thompson building. So let's look at some birthdays. And first of all, we're going to go back and look at some of the belated birthdays as well. So we do have a situation. One was sent to us on yesterday. And birthday greetings for yesterday going out to Miss Rosita Borden from your dad, nieces and nephews, David, Natalie, Yvette, Rianne, Ashante, Emmanuel, wishing you the best for you and love always. So belated happy birthday greetings to Miss Rosita Borden. Again, coming from your dad, your nieces and nephews, David, Natalie, Yvette, Rianne, Ashanti, Emmanuel. And happy birthday, belated birthday greetings to you. Also, we have birthday greetings going out to Deja Dwyer. She's 8 years old today. So, Deja, happy birthday to you. Enjoy your 8th birthday. Have a great day. Hope they have a party for you. Lots of presents and everything. Also, let's look to see what we have as far as Facebook is concerned. Okay, today, Miss Esther Anderson is celebrating her birthday. So, Miss Esther, happy birthday to you. Miss Esther is also heavily involved in scouting, as well. And we want to extend our appreciations for her involvement in scouting. Tomorrow, Marge Rich is celebrating her birthday tomorrow as well. So those are the birthday greetings. If you have any more, please send them in to us. And at some point during the show, even though we may be past the segment for birthday greetings, we still will continue to share them as well. Meanwhile, it is my pleasure to have in the studio with me Dr. Steve McField. And before I hand the mic over to him, I just want to remind you, and you would have heard it here on our bulletin board as well. And we also had members, staff, including the director of the Department of Environmental Health in the studio with us on For the Record, talking about the 2023 bulk waste collection schedule. And today is the 28th. We have 30 days in April, so 2 more days. And then on the 1st of May, from the 1st of May to the 6th of May, the bulk waste collection will take place in the district of West Bay. So want to remind you, from the 1st of May to the 6th of May, the district of West Bay bulk waste collection schedule. So you get your bulk waste ready, and the steps. Step number 1, check your collection date. Step number 2, separate metals and vegetative waste. Step number 3, place the waste on the curbside. The items that will be accepted are appliances, mattresses, vegetative waste, furniture, bicycles, and scrap metals. Now, I noticed that bicycles are mentioned here, and in the Cayman Islands and probably the United States are probably the only 2 jurisdictions where you find that people throw away bicycles, because In many other jurisdictions, people use those as their means of transportation as well. So, but we here in the Cayman Islands, we have a tendency sometimes to throw them away as well. And on that note, I would just say that there was a time, many years ago, where I wanted to start a project where old bicycles, they used to, when bicycles were stolen and recovered and they weren't identified, after a period of time, the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service would auction those bicycles off. And I thought of a program where we could use, have the prisoners at Northward refurbish some of those bicycles, and if they had children, refurbish them and give them to their children. Something that someone may want to take up in this day and age as well. But just to note here that bicycles are some of the items that are accepted, but in many jurisdictions, bicycles are considered a treasure and not unusual for people to take them and refurbish them and use them as well. So some of the items that are not accepted are electronics, tires, hazardous materials, construction, and demolition waste. So you contractors that are out there, don't think that the government is going to come around and pick up your construction waste. That's for you. That is for you to do as well. So that will not be construction and demolition waste will not be accepted. You have to take on that responsibility yourself. And again, one more time, West Bay from the 1st of May to the 6th of May. Then Georgetown will be from the 8th of May to the 13th of May. Bordentown will be the 15th to the 20th of May. Northside and East End will be from the 22nd to the 27th of May. But right now we will focus on West Bay because that will start from the 1st of May to the 6th of May. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we're going to put Dr. McField behind the mic. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Henry Mayothan Eden, 1850 through 1933. Henry Mayothan Eden was probably born in the 1850s. He was a respected leader in Georgetown. One of the prominent merchants of his day, he owned a good deal of property and was also part owner with Captain Livingston Anderson of the sloop Panama. The sloop was used to transport sand from the coast of Panama to Colon, where the Panama Canal was under construction. Henry and Captain Anderson would take turns commanding her every 6 months. For many years, he worked on the surveying ships that laid cable around the Caribbean. He was a manager of the Presbyterian Church of Georgetown during the early 1900s.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
The Rotary Sunrise Audi Raffle Saturday, this Saturday, April 29th. Drive away the winner of a spanking new $54,000 Audi Q5 SUV. Second prize, $1,200 Cayman Airways ticket voucher. Third prize, $1,000 gift certificate from Ale Thompson's. Fourth prize, $500 CUC gift voucher. Tickets start at $25. Get 3 tickets for $65. 5 tickets for $100. Your tickets, your chances. The best $25 you will spend this April. Audi raffle proceeds will fund Rotary Sunrise projects. Tickets available online at rotarysunrisecarraffle.com or at A.L. Thompson's this Friday, 2 to 6 p.m. and this Saturday before 2 p.m. The Audi raffle, supported by Rotary Central. Rotary, all the good you imagine.
More Than Words, your gateway to local books and more. Connect to your culture. Tap into your roots. More Than Words bookstore in the Thompson Building. Supplies local books, gifts, trinkets, keepsakes, wall plaques, and journals. The hub for local authors. More Than Words. So much more. More Than Words is now open. Shop number 4, 2nd floor, Thompson Building. Or call 936-5544.
They say you only live once. I say you only die once. But you live every day. I'm Michael Webster from Cayman Insurance Center, longtime supporter of Radio Cayman. Live your life, my friends. Happiness is in the journey, not the destination. When you're ready, I'm here to support you with the best financial decisions for your family's future. Cayman Insurance Center, protecting you and your family so you can take back your future. I'm Michael Webster, the sure way to protect your family. Call me when you're ready at 925-5433. Don't take chances with your family's future or your valuable assets.
Think life insurance.
Heart disease, cancer, diabetes, and respiratory illnesses are among the top causes of death in Cayman every year. From June 3rd until July 31st, the Ministry of Health and Wellness will conduct the STEPS 2023 National Health Survey to better understand the prevalence of non-communicable diseases within our nation. Log on to www.gov.ky/STEPS to learn more.
Did you know that you can send money transfers to financial institutions anywhere in Jamaica with JN Money?
You mean I can send money straight to my account and cut out the middleman?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. You send your own money to your own account, giving you peace of mind that the money is in your account.
JN Money Transfers to Financial Institution is another convenient service offered by JN Money. You can have this done from any JN Money location. Deposit your money straight to your account without the hassle of asking someone to do it for you. JN Money Transfers to Financial Institutions, making life easier.
At Doctor's Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctor's Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Washing your clothes in cold water can save you 90% of your washing machine energy usage.
Using LED light bulbs uses 75% less energy than regular bulbs, and they last 25 times longer. Keeping your appliances and equipment cleaned and maintained regularly will reduce your monthly electricity bill.
The do-it-yourself energy audits on energy.gov.ky make it easy to find ways to save energy and money in your home or business.
Complete an energy audit of your home or business before 31st of May 2023 to be entered into a prize giveaway. Prizes include a $5,000 gift certificate to Home Gas and gift certificates to Cooling Pros, Foam Pros, Cosylest, and Foster's.
To learn more, visit energy.gov.ky today and follow the National Energy Policy on Facebook and Instagram.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you are remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
System 1 loaded. 1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. It is my pleasure to have in the studio again with me this morning Dr. Steve McField. We did promise you that we wanted to continue the discussion in relation to the Court of Appeals judgment on the case that was presented to them, and we'll give you more details about what that is all about. Doc, meanwhile, I don't know if you had an opportunity to listen to the debate that has been taken in, I'm going to say in the House, because while it has been renamed Parliament, every member in referring to the Parliament said this honorable House.
Yes.
So while we went through those constitutional amendments, to be called a Parliament, we still can't get away from that parlance of the House. So it goes again to show you that we should have left it the way it was.
Yes.
But all of the kabuka dancing that was going on in our Parliament the last couple of days, at one point in time I said to myself, well, we might as well start preparing for early elections, for a general election. There were times when members were missing for the vote, government members. We heard some, during the debate, some raw issues, coming out. It is, to me, it became quite evident that there are more divisions than there is unity as far as the PAC government is concerned, and they laid it right out there for the public to see. What are your thoughts on that? Doc?
Yeah, I thought that was extraordinary, different, because they all were on the same side and they were all cabinet ministers, and it seems to me that it looks like as if there was adversarial on one side of the House against the other, against that side of the House, and instead of against the other side. And the problem that they have, I think that it shows that there's no actual clear policy on certain things that they want to do. This comes back to the whole concepts of how the British parliamentary system works. In relation to collective responsibility in the cabinet and in the legislature.
Yes.
And it seems to me that on the one hand that the members of the Parliament, the House here, really wants to understand and to follow the British parliamentary system of government and even of debate in the legislature or in the Parliament or in the House, but there is still an issue with them being independents. Remember, now they never came together before the election as a unified team. I mean, they all were independent, but they were not unified like the Unity team, the Dignity team, and all of those different teams. Although they were not a party, those teams were not a party. These people were not a team. They all ran independently, and so they all have their independent views of what they want to do and how the issues that they bring to the public and how the issues that they want to see solved within their electoral districts happen. And that really is not how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a collective policy on each electoral districts, and then they bring that to the House and stand on that, stand or fall on that. But it seems to me that each one have the, and I was surprised that this East-West Arterial Road issue has brought such division. I mean, the premier made it quite clear that he was for the EIA, and then the private members' motion says no, that they were not for the EIA, and they voted for it, and then the premier voted for it too. So it passed unanimously in the House.
And that, bearing in mind it is just a private member's motion.
That's
so
right.
At the end of the day, we have seen with many private members' motion that they don't gain any traction afterwards. They just basically sit there and nothing is done.
But I think with this private member motion, something will be done because they have made so many of them have made so many promises to their constituents that this is going to be done, and they look like they are standing or falling on that promise. And of course, there's an old saying that promises are comfort to a fool. But the problem is that they're putting their political future on the line on this east-west arterial, at least up to Bodden town.
So you think that the east-west arterial will be the proverbial straw that breaks the camel's back in this particular case? I sort of got that impression that if that isn't done, that is where you're going to see the huge fracture, within the government.
Well, they said so themselves. Some of the ministers said so themselves that their people wants that road, and they are promised the people to get it. And they say if they don't get it, the people are going to react to them at the polls. They have made that quite clear, and they're not going to go down on not giving the people what they want. That's a problem that they have. They have to build a road now, at least up to Bodden town.
What disturbed me a bit was that while they spoke about the road and spoke about the fact that children have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and they don't get back home until sometimes 9 o'clock at night or whatever, no one spoke about the other alternatives and the other corrective measures that we still need to take in addition to the road. While they acknowledge that the road itself is not necessarily going to solve all of our traffic problems, no one spoke anything about restricting the number of cars, restricting who can import cars. None of that was talked about.
No, yeah, and I was surprised that they didn't talk about Section 16 of the Bill of Rights, where they have the right to restrict people who come here to work or who come here to live. They have a right to restrict people who come here who are not Caymanians. That's what it says. It is the prime law of the land. That's what it says. They have the right to do that. And I have.
As a matter of fact, in this Court of Appeals judgment, Section 16 is raised. Is raised in there.
Yes.
They brought it to our attention as well.
Yes, and to put it very simply, I don't see any argument around the fact that we have said on this radio show, you and I have postulated on this radio that they have the right to do that, and we have even said how they could do it. When you receive a work permit, a condition of the work permit is that you cannot import a car or take fish or take things from the sea or hunt or anything without a license from the government. That should be a condition. It's easy to do. I concede that there also has to be an alternative for those people who are not able to get to import a car. There should be a reliable ground transportation system to get them back and forth, because that's what urban development means. That's one of the things of urban development. You have to get people back and forth.
Definitely. Folks, Top of the hour, 8 o'clock news. When we return, the conversation with Dr. Steve McField will continue. We will get right into the Court of Appeals case. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. And studio time now by Foster's is 8 o'clock.
At Foster's, we have over 70 big deals to help you save more on your groceries.
Just like St. Ives Facial Scrub, 6 ounce, just $4.39, save $2.20. Or locally made boxed meals, 10 ounce, selected varieties, only $8.49, save $2.
And you'll also find a Checo pasta sauce, 400 gram varieties, $3.59, save $1. Head in store for more great specials or shop online with Foster's Go. Foster's, better prices because we care.
Price is good until May 3rd, 2023.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Caymanbrack and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. After debating a housekeeping issue with regards to the order paper for nearly the first whole hour of business, lawmakers in Parliament then blew through the tabling of a number of government reports with little discussion before MPs started firing off parliamentary questions.
Can the Honourable Minister update the House on the progress with the government's proposed undersea telecoms cable?
Can the Honourable Minister update Parliament as to when the mental health facility will be completed and operational?
Can the Honourable Minister state when the Deloitte report with the recommendations on public transportation will be made public?
Lawmakers then tackled several private members' motion, passing all 8, which covered things from the east-west arterial extension and school buses for private schools to setting up an employment commission and increasing the salaries of civil servants before they adjourned the day's proceedings after 1 a.m. for the second time in a row. Premier the Honourable Wayne Panton asked that all MPs be ready to meet again today at 10 a.m.
We will get on to dealing with bills, and of course we'll have questions, and I think there may be 1 or 2 statements.
You can catch all the proceedings live on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM. In other news, sea turtle nesting season has officially started, with loggerhead nesting activities recorded across all 3 islands in the last couple of weeks. The Department of Environment's Turtle Hotline is now active 24 hours a day on 938 NEST. Residents are being asked to use WhatsApp to report any suspected turtle tracks on the beach. You can also report any suspicious illegal activity by calling DOE conservation officers on 916-4271. Some small things you can do to protect the nesting turtle population: keep beaches clean of litter and beach equipment, no bonfires, vehicles, or heavy equipment on beaches without consulting the DOE first, and make sure to turn off lights as turtles are disoriented by artificial lighting, and it can cause major threats for turtles and hatchlings. And the Taking Care of Basics personal care item drive being hosted by the Rotaract Club of Grand Cayman has broken the 5,000 individual items milestone and is on its way to raising $1,000. Club President Shakir Johnson.
The Rotaract Club of Grand Cayman would like to thank the community of the Cayman Islands for getting involved and helping raise awareness for the Crisis Center.
Volunteers will be back at Cost You Less from 10 until 2 tomorrow as the club looks to achieve the 10,000 item goal for the drive. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Carsley Fuller.
BBC News with Julie Candler. A wave of Russian missile attacks on residential areas across Ukraine has killed at least 18 people. The worst casualties were in the town of Uman, where a block of flats was hit and residents were buried under the rubble. Doctors in Sudan say at least 74 people have been killed during 2 days of fighting this week in the western Darfur region. Clashes have continued between the army and a rival paramilitary group, despite a ceasefire extension. The chairman of the BBC, Richard Sharp, has resigned. A report found that he breached rules on disclosing potential conflicts of interest. Pope Francis, who's in Hungary, has urged Europe not to fall prey to populism and has warned of rising nationalism on the continent. He also appealed for openness to different languages and customs. A high-profile leader of a Kenyan Pentecostal church has appeared in court in connection with the discovery of more than 100 bodies in mass graves. Ezekiel Odero is accused of crimes including murder, abduction, child cruelty and fraud. China and the Philippines have blamed each other after a near collision of Coast Guard vessels from the two countries in disputed waters in the South China Sea. Beijing claims sovereignty over the area, even though an international court has ruled that it's in the Philippines' exclusive economic zone. Police in Delhi have told India's Supreme Court that they'll start an investigation into sexual harassment allegations against the head of country's wrestling federation. Top wrestling stars are demanding the arrest of Brij Bhushan Singh. The actress Eva Green has won $1 million in her lawsuit against a British film company she'd signed up to star with. Miss Green was supposed to play a soldier in A Patriot, but production of the sci-fi film was abandoned. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Boddentown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Boddentown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio Cayman app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
Cayman, you're ready? Cayman Carnival Batabano presents the Friday Night Vet Out of the Blue, featuring soca sensation Skinny Fabulous. Along with DJ Eternal Vibe, MC Giselle, the Wassy One, Execution Sound, and more. Get ready to jump like you never jump, wave like you never wave, and whine like you never whine. Friday, May 5th, starting at 8 p.m. Seafarers Way, downtown Georgetown. Get your tickets now for the Friday Night Fete from Le Classique in the Strand. Save big with 2-for-1 tickets on sale for $40 until April 30th. Celebrate with us at OTD Blue. Friday, May 5th, 8 p.m. Seafarers Way, downtown Georgetown. Tickets for OTD Blue are available from the Classique Anniversary Special. 2-for-1 tickets for $40 until April 30th. Sponsored by Ministry of Tourism, Department of Tourism, Cayman Airways, J and Money, Radio Cayman, Caymanian Times, Event Pro, and Pepsi. The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
Good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 82 degrees. Relative humidity is 73%. The barometric pressure is 29.90 inches and rising. The wind is out of the southeast at 6 knots. Overnight low temperature was 79 degrees. Synopsis indicate light to moderate southeasterly winds and slight seas are expected to continue across the Cayman area over the next 24 hours as the pressure gradient remains weak across the Caribbean. Satellite images show a few low clouds over the Cayman area. Now, the forecast for today calling for partly cloudy skies with cloudy spells and a 30% chance of morning showers, and temperatures today will be in the mid-80s. Winds will be southeast at 10 to 15 knots, and seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. Tonight, partly cloudy skies with a 20% chance of showers, and temperatures dipping to the mid-70s tonight. Winds will be southeast at 5 to 10 knots. Seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. Today's low tide will be this afternoon at 4 minutes past 12, high tide this evening at 5:58, and a low tide again tonight at 11:40. The sun will set this evening at 6:46 and will rise tomorrow morning at 5:59. And the outlook is calling for an increase in cloudiness by Sunday morning and some showers by the evening as a cold front currently over the southern United States is expected to drift over western Cuba. That's the very latest on your weather report.
Take some advice from your Aunt Angie. If you're going to invest in an exotic pet, choose anything but a Norwegian forest cat. Apparently, they will eat all your jewelry. Before you know it, you're racing to the vet when your cat escapes from his carrier and lunges for your earrings. You crash and your cat swallows your pearls. But if you're smart, you'll have CG Motor Insurance and get the best comprehensive coverage for the price.
Get the best comprehensive coverage for the price. CG Britk. Good like that. All benefits are subject to policy provisions, including eligibility at the time of service.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britk, where people come first.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong Series. The Cayman Strong Series is brought to you by OnCourse Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
Achieving our goals is rewarding, but at times can feel frustrating, especially if and when we miss our target. As you approach your goals in life, set yourself up for success.
When setting your goals, look at the big picture. What is most important to you? When you are successful, how will your life be different? These questions can help you define what success means to you. Are you dreaming of owning your own business, getting a significant promotion, or running a marathon? These values will guide the goals you set for your future life. Being able to envision your values in action will make them feel real and near.
Change your thinking and change your life.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong Series. The Cayman Strong Series is brought to you by OnCourse Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
These days, feelings of loneliness, anxiety, stress, and depression can be overwhelming. Just know you are not alone. OnCourse Cayman offers private mental health services for children, teens, adults, and groups. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Good morning once again. Let's take a look this time at traffic. On the Linford Pearson Highway, traffic is busy. Busy traffic also on Cool Road heading to Georgetown. Eastbound traffic on Cool Road is moving on pretty good. As we look to the Industrial Park area heading towards the Butterfield Roundabout, not sure what's happening there, but it's busy traffic. And also busy traffic coming off of the Esley-Tibbetts Highway. Northstown Road, steady but flowing traffic, and traffic is moving on moderately on Godfrey Dixon Way and Eastern Avenue. Steady traffic on the West Bay Road in front of the Ritz heading to Georgetown, and traffic heading to West Bay coming from Georgetown on the West Bay area in front of the Ritz-Carlton. Traffic is moderate. Moderate flow of traffic coming from the West Bay four-way stop. And traffic coming off of Bobby Thompson Way is busy. Agnes Way, busy traffic. Into Georgetown on Shedden Road, not looking too bad. Out of Georgetown on Shedden Road, moderate flow of traffic. And that's what's happening on your roads. Join us again at about 10 minutes after 12 o'clock. We'll give you another traffic report. Have a good morning and drive safe.
When you're craving something big, something tasty that gives you that lip-smacking satisfaction, something that hits the spot, there is nothing better than a footlong from Subway.
It's pretty tasty.
Filling and full of flavor. Try our new sweet onion steak teriyaki with a twist. Or the classic chicken teriyaki. Top it with green pepper, onions, cheese, and that sweet onion teriyaki sauce. All piled on your favorite artisanal bread. Satisfy that craving with a footlong from Subway.
Fresh, delicious, tasty, meaty.
Let's make it a meal with a drink, chips, and cookies. There is nothing better than a footlong from Subway.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
The Rotary Sunrise Audi Raffle Saturday, this Saturday, April 29th. Drive away the winner of a spanking new $54,000 Audi Q5 SUV. Second prize, $1,200 Cayman Airways ticket voucher. Third prize, $1,000 gift certificate from A.L. Thompson's. Fourth prize, $500 CUC gift voucher. Tickets start at $25. Get 3 tickets for $65. 5 tickets for $100. Your tickets, your chances. The best $25 you will spend this April. Audi raffle proceeds will fund Rotary Sunrise projects. Tickets available online at rotarysunrisecarraffle.com or at A.L. Thompson's this Friday, 2 to 6 p.m. and this Saturday before 2 p.m. The Audi raffle, supported by Rotary Central. Rotary, all the good you imagine.
Excuse me, I noticed you from afar.
Really? Me?
Well, not you. The KFC sandwich you're eating?
Oh, Zinger.
Sorry, I'm not trying to be funny.
No, it's called the Zinger Sandwich. Crunchy, juicy, 100% chicken breast, crisp lettuce, sweet mayo on a seeded bun with a little zing. KFC's chicken is not factory breaded, frozen and refried like the Burger Boys. Customize your KFC Zinger and dip it in barbecue sauce.
Wow, now I'm starting to notice you too.
KFC, it's finger licking good.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. It is my pleasure to have in the studio with me Dr. Steve McField. Just before we get into our main discussion this morning, we also are informed that Mr. Larry Tibbetts is celebrating a birthday today, so we want to wish Mr. Tibbetts, Larry Tibbetts, a happy birthday. And Miss Patricia or Miss Pat McCullum, she's also celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday to Miss Pat McCullum as well. So, Doc, one of our listeners has responded to our comments about the fact that on that private member's motion about the east-west arterial, that we didn't hear much discussion or any discussion in relation to other alternatives, to address the traffic problem. And the person says, good morning. The report that was debated and voted down included recommendations for the limit to limit car imports into the Cayman Islands. Then one of our listeners also commented and said, the problem is not too many cars. The problem is overpopulation of people. This is not being discussed, and that's what we're going to be discussing this morning in terms of population growth and how it is being accelerated not by the natural birth rate in the Cayman Islands, but through immigration. And I have one more. Minister Bryan has pointed out to us that he did speak about other solutions to the traffic problem. He also says that he spoke about decentralization of development and public transport as well. So I want to thank the minister for sharing that with us also. So what we're going to look at now, Doc, is what we consider to be, and the existential threat to Caymanians in the Cayman Islands, which is unbridled immigration. Not only unbridled immigration to a certain extent, but the challenges that are being put in place to the legislation that we do have that is intended to at least give us some control over who will be granted permanent residence in the Cayman Islands, who will be allowed to work in the Cayman Islands, and for how long. And while persons have a legal right to challenge government decisions, nothing wrong, with that, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with us, to a certain extent, taking offense to that, because, it is like we have allowed you to come here, we have allowed you to work here with no promises when that work permit has been granted to you, and then you turn around and you slap us in the face by legally challenging us. That leaves a sour taste in people's mouth. And, people are not going to be so welcoming when you turn around and do that. It is like one of the questions that I didn't get to pose on Wednesday to you. The person wanted to know if they occupy a room in a house, can they make a claim to that by either quiet possession or the fact that they have occupied a room in a house?
Well, they could they could not make quiet possession for occupying a room in a house because it's obvious that the house and the property would be owned by somebody else.
Yes.
Unless that property was completely deserted and there was no owner. At least for 12 years, there was no owner in the house. There was no owner on the property. And they could say, "Well, I have been on the property by living in one room of the house, so therefore I am entitled to quiet possession." Under the land law, under land registry law. But it's very interesting. And before you go, I just want to comment on what you stated that the minister has said.
Yes.
About decentralization. That was something that we should have thought about several years ago when we were building all of these new buildings for the government.
Mm-hmm,
I noticed that the government has so many leases around Georgetown for buildings in which they provide services to the public. I don't understand why some of those services cannot be transferred out to the other districts. Like East, where instead of coming from East to be able to take advantage of those services, why some of those can't go East? For instance, like things like police records and things like that, where you can go online to get them, get it now. But if they to get a hard copy or something, why is it that the office is not someplace else? Because when I went to England, I was surprised to see that when I needed to get an update for my student visa, I had to go all the way to a place called Croydon. I had to take a train outside of London proper, and go up to Croydon to get to the immigration department or the Home Office to get my stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why is it that we cannot start to decentralize the government, our services. A lot of those things should not be in Georgetown. We should centralize those things outside of Georgetown so that people would be going outside instead of coming in. And that would alleviate a lot of the traffic woes that we have. So the minister is right about that.
Certainly. Okay.
Now, you remember we were talking off the air about, and you were talking about why is it? And people have been asking me, why is it that these two applicants brought the case to the Court of Appeal? If they went to the Grand Court and the Grand Court upheld the decision of the appeals tribunal to say that they did not have 110 points on their score. They did not reach 110 points, and therefore they were not qualified under Section 37 to obtain Caymanian residency. Why was it that they went to the Court of Appeal and the court the court gave them chance to their case to be heard?
Yes.
The courts gave them an audience.
Because when you're submitting an appeal, it is not necessarily automatic.
No,
yes.
no. And then you pointed to me out in Section 5 what the court said.
Yes.
In paragraph 5 of the judgment. And this is what the court said. The court said in granting leave to appeal, the president stated, this proposed appeals raises important issues of principle regarding the interplay between the point system and Section 9 of the island's constitution. It also raises issues with respect to disclosure in immigration appeals. These are matters which, in my view, justify consideration by the Court of Appeal. So that's why he said that they gave the Court of Appeal, gave them an audience for their case to be heard before the Court of Appeal, because it raises questions of the interaction between Section 37, the application section, and Section 9, the Bill of Rights section, and it also raises issues in respect of disclosure. And that was when they were saying that they didn't receive enough points for the questions that were answered, because the questions should have been given to them before the exam. So those were the thing. Now the relevant law, the court said at the time that they applied for permanent residence, was the Immigration Law 2015. So this case has been around for some time.
Yes.
Have been around for some time. The section now, the relevant section now in which you will have to apply now for permanent residence is Section 37(1). And the court set that out in their judgment. Now, a lot of people were calling me, asking me, what is this thing called respect to private life and family life? That a lot of people ask me that, and you remember we read that out on your show on Wednesday, but I will do that again.
Certainly, yes.
So Section 9 of the Bill of Rights, under the heading Private and Family Life, and this is the relevant part that I want to say. I don't need to go through the whole thing. It says, government shall respect every person's private and family life, his or her home, and his or her correspondence. So I got some notes here of what those words mean. What those words means. So under Section 9, what it means, a private life. Private life has, I would say, has a broad meaning. It means that you have the right to live your life with privacy and without interference by the government. It covers things like your sexuality, your body, personal identity, and how you look and dress, forming and maintaining relationships with other people, and how your personal information is held and protected. And family life means, and family life includes the right to have and maintain family relationships, and it covers your right not to be separated from your family and to maintain contact in your family if your family is split. It also means to decide if a relationship covered by family life, what matters is the closeness of the relationship, and that's very important. Not the legal status of the relationship, but the closeness of the relationship. And I will explain that, because you may be married to a Caymanian. You may have children in Cayman, a child by the Caymanian, but you may be separated from your wife. You could be living in the East End as a immigrant, as a work permit holder, and your wife could be living in West Bay. and you can have children, but you don't supporting them, and they're and you is supporting them, or you're not supporting them at all. Then in those circumstances, you would not say that you have family life.
Yeah, that's not a legitimate claim to it.
So, and it also covers relationships by family life, including your parents. If you have good relationship with your parents, and by family life includes like brothers and sisters. If you're brothers and sisters, and it includes your illegitimate children too. If you have a child outside of the union, and if you have adopted a child, that's what it means. And as I have said before, it means between husband and wife and siblings, of course.
Okay, we're going to take a break there, Doc. Folks, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, Dr. McField will continue, giving us, an explanation in terms of various terminologies that have been used in this court case and giving us a clear explanation for it. We encourage you to continue to listen, and at some point in time we will take calls from you. We will let you know when those calls will be accepted. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Ensuring your walls, ceilings, and floors are properly sealed against air leaks is an important step in lowering your monthly energy bills. Even small gaps around windows, under doors, or around lighting and plumbing fixtures can add up to as much air loss as having an open window.
The do-it-yourself energy audits on energy.gov.ky make it easy to find ways to save energy and money in your home or business.
Complete an energy audit of your home or business before 31st of May 2023 to be entered into a prize giveaway. Prizes include a $5,000 gift certificate to Home Gas and gift certificates to Cooling Pros, Foam Pros, Costyless, and Foster's.
To learn more, visit energy.gov.ky today and follow the National Energy Policy on Facebook and Instagram.
Are you feeling sick, but don't feel ill enough to go to the doctor? Ask your pharmacist for advice. Here at West Bay Pharmacy, our pharmacists have been trained to offer helpful, easy-to-understand advice on the treatment of everyday minor ailments for yourself and all the family. Anything from headaches, cough and sore throat, to cold sores, our pharmacists will know when medical help is needed and will not hesitate to refer you to your doctor if your symptoms demand it. Like doctors, our pharmacists have a professional code, which means all personal information you give them will be treated in the strictest confidence. Visit us today at West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
At Kirk's Home Center, we can make your life much better. We got it all together. We got a great deal in store for you. From cookware to stereos, from power tools to plumbing supplies. Yeah, we got the best goods with the best price and a service to make you smile. Kirk's Home Center, we got a great deal in store for you.
Capella Music Festival is back, Saturday, April 29th at the Festival Green at Camana Bay, featuring a jam-packed lineup of local performers and international stars. UB40, Coffee, Kez the Band, and Leanne Rhymes. Purchase your tickets now at CapellaMusicFestival.com. Brought to you by Camana Bay, Cayman Airways, Remax, Sandbar, Massive Equipment Rental, the Cayman Islands Department of Tourism.
Heart disease, cancer, diabetes, and respiratory illnesses are among the top causes of death in Cayman every year. From June 3rd until July 31st, the Ministry of Health and Wellness will conduct the STEPS 2023 National Health Survey to better understand the prevalence of non-communicable diseases within our nation. Log on to www.gov.ky/steps to learn more.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Dr. Steve McField. Before I pass the mic back over to him, we have another birthday greeting here that we will recognize this morning. So birthday greetings going out to grandson Kendrick Christian, welcome, and daughter Yvonne Evans, They celebrated birthdays on the 26th and 27th, respectively. Those greetings are coming from Paula Rose Scott. So belated birthday greetings to Kendrick Christian, welcome. Yvonne Evans. Kendrick celebrated his birthday on the 26th, and Yvonne Evans celebrated hers on the 27th. And birthday greetings are coming from Paula Rose Scott. Over to you, Doc.
Yeah, and following on about the respect which government has to have in Section 9, you were right. And it also says that that the government has to respect your home. And what that means is, doesn't mean that you have the right for housing, but it protects the home from you already have.
Yes.
And it means public authorities like government must not prevent you from entering your living in your home. And you all also have the right to enjoy your home peacefully without intrusion by the government. And government may need to take positive steps sometimes so you can peacefully enjoy your home. For example, by reducing air pollution, aircraft noise, or protect your home from serious pollution, things like that. And then the other protection that you have is that of your correspondence. And it says that the government has to protect your correspondence. It means that the government cannot intrude on your letter writing, or intrude on your emails, or intrude on your fax or your telephone without just cause, without some law. Usually, they should not be listening on your telephone, tapping your telephone, unless there's some kind of court order or something. But I understand that in our jurisdiction, we do not have that kind of law. I understand that some authorities can listen on your phone without having to go to court. I don't know. I haven't seen that.
Whether or not it can be done directly by the governor.
By the governor. That's what I've heard. So those are the things. But the most important thing is the right to family life. That people saying and the case that gave this right, that emphasized this right under Section 9 of the Bill of Rights was the case of Ellington. Now the case of Ellington involved a gentleman who got convicted for certain things and certain crimes or certain offenses in our courts, and was sentenced to Northward. I think at the time he went into the court, he was married, and then while he was there, his wife divorced him, and then he met somebody else while he was in prison, and when he came out, she married him, and they had a child. And on his release, there was I think it was the government seek to deport him back to Jamaica, I think where he came from, and he was the one who raised the fact that that to send him off from the country, from the Cayman Islands, when he was married to a Caymanian person and had a child in Cayman, that they were depriving him of his family life. And of course that went to court, and the court upheld that decision and says yes, that what the government was doing was violating his family rights.
Now
his right to family life.
Now you pointed to the fact that it is possible that those provisions can be abused. How do you combat that type of abuse when the example that you used earlier in terms of you may be married to someone, but you're living in one district, they're living in another, you're not cohabitating at all. You may have children, but you're not supporting the children. How is the government able to counter that?
Well, the government,
in light of a decision that would have been made by the courts,
the government has their investigators. They would go out and get the facts and would show otherwise. And of course, the government would have to bring a bill to counter that. And remember now, the government has the right for deportation by cabinet, to make a deportation order and put you on the stop list by cabinet. I haven't seen that move been taken yet. Lately, that happened before.
Oh yeah.
That happened many times before.
But of course, you also get the opportunity to challenge that deportation order, and you could challenge it on similar grounds.
Yes, similar grounds that you have the right to family life.
Yes. Yeah.
So what we have been doing at the immigration department at the permanent residence board is we have been perusing all of these things, these red flags that would tell us that people would not have the right to family life, or that people are abusing the system, and then we send it over to enforcement for them to deal with it.
Okay. So let's remind our listeners and viewers, Doc, about the case. Who brought the case, the individuals, and who represented whom in it as well. Yes. So we had Joey DeLosa Bure, who we have. Joey DeLosa Bure, who was the first appellant. Leon Sunil Carmo de Souza, who's the second appellant. We have as the respondents, the first respondent, the Immigration Appeals Tribunal, the second respondent, the Attorney General of the Cayman Islands. And this is an appeal coming from the Grand Court decision that was favorable towards the IAT in terms of their decision, and then it was moved. So the court, the court then, under Section 5, found that the appeal raised important issues in principle regarding the interplay between point system, Section 9 and Section 9 of the Cayman Islands Constitution, and raises also respect to disclosure of immigration appeals. And we do know, for instance, that they were unsuccessful in terms of the documentation that they were seeking to acquire. What we'll do is we'll take a commercial break, give you an opportunity to find the section that dealt with the Office of the Ombudsman and the request to get certain information and the refusal to disclose that, because had that information been disclosed, it would have really upset the whole process that the government has in place for assessing a person's, their qualifications to become a permanent resident. When it came to the civics, the culture, and the history test as well. I want you to talk a little bit about that. So, Ms. Susan, we're going to take the commercial break now. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Since March 2004, West Bay Pharmacy has kept their doors open to the local communities, even before, during, and after Hurricane Ivan. At West Bay Pharmacy, our staff provides so much more than pharmaceutical excellence. From the moment you walk through our doors to completing your cash out, our staff will have put your healthcare concerns at ease. We would like to take this moment to thank our loyal friends and customers. To us at West Bay Pharmacy, our patients are our primary concern. We provide thorough background checks and precise calculations to ensure your medical safety. Thank you for being a part of our family and for choosing West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
She hear clunk and her car stop. I was just about to send her some money, so I send it straight to her JN Money Transfer card. It cost me less, and perhaps she use the card, pay the garage right away. She'll get discount through the JN Rewards program in Jamaica. This card make things easy. You can even get funds at any multi-link ATM.
JN Money Transfer Card. Fast, affordable, convenient. Tell your loved ones in Jamaica about it. Sign up is free.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our Custom Closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
Heart disease, cancer, diabetes, and respiratory illnesses are among the top causes of death in Cayman every year. From June 3rd until July 31st, the Ministry of Health and Wellness will conduct the STEPS 2023 National Health Survey to better understand the prevalence of non-communicable diseases within our nation. Log on to www.gov.ky/steps to learn more.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Dr. Steve McField. So, Doc, while we continue to look for that, in paragraph 10, the judgment speaks about the point system, and they say to the fact that the point system referred to in section 37, subsection 2 is set out in the permanent residence assessment within schedule 2 of the immigration regulations, blah, blah, blah. It is a detailed prescriptive document which sets out 9 factors and a deductible component. It is attached. The 9 factors award points for 1, occupation, which is a maximum of 30 points. Education, training, and experience, a maximum of 25 points. Local investment, maximum 30 points. Financial stability, maximum 30 points. Community-minded integration into the Caymanian community, maximum 20 points. Factor 6, history and culture tests, maximum 20 points. Possessing close Caymanian connections, there is a maximum of 100 points for certain Cuban nationals. 40 points are awarded in respect of an applicant who is the parent, son, or daughter of a Caymanian. 20 points for an applicant who is the brother, sister, or grandparent of a Caymanian, provided the applicant has not received 40 points by virtue of being the parent, son, and daughter. So you can't, what it's basically saying there is that you have family connections. You only get it one way. You can't get 2 different sets of points for 2 different sets of family connection. Demographic and cultural diversity, maximum 10 points. And factor 9, age distribution, maximum 10 points. Goes on to say there are deductible components to a maximum of 100 points. They relate to character, health, and the lack of a reasonably funded pension plan. Neither appellant had any points deducted. So they didn't have any points deducted at all. And notice all of the point system, it says the maximum amount of points that the person can obtain. It is not imperative that that you must get all of the points that are allocated to it. It goes on to say that by Section 21 of the Act, a person who is aggrieved or dissatisfied by a decision of the board or the director of work may appeal to the first respondent, and it requires the board of directors to deliver the reasons for its decision. The first respondent by Section 2. It says an appeal may be lodged on the ground or grounds and no other that the decision in question is A, erroneous in law, B, unreasonable, C, contrary to the principles of natural justice, or D, at variance with the regulations. And it goes on to talk about the permanent residence. It talks about the right that a person has had, because I have had persons who have questioned, well, why are persons allowed to remain here while their appeal is being heard? So in some scenarios, you find they've reached year 8. Before year 9, they apply for permanent residence. Then if they're, well, first of all, the person pointed out that there are some people who know that they will never qualify for permanent residence, but they submit their application anyway, because when you factor in the cost of submitting an application and you factor in what that person can make as far as a salary is concerned while they're awaiting that permanent residence, they come out on top, way higher on top in terms of the salary. So they do it anyway. So that is one loophole that needs to be looked at as well. So you don't end up, you try to separate and eliminate the frivolous applications that are being submitted. But those that are genuine, it is quite possible that an individual may remain in the jurisdiction for years after their permanent residence application has been refused. Why is that possible based on the law, Doc? I know arguments have been put forward in the past that there's a legal principle that if there's a specific right that you enjoyed prior to a decision is being made, and while you're appealing that decision, that you are able to continue to enjoy that right until you have exhausted all of your legal recourses?
Yes. That is basically it. That's basically. But coming back to what you were talking about, Factor 6, 20 points for culture and the culture and history tests.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you get it's 20 points for that, but the points are split into half points. There are 40 questions that are randomly taken from a series of 30 to 300 to 400 questions. Now, no one sees the questions because the questions are taken randomly and they put on the computer and you have to answer them. You get half a point for each question that you actually answer.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, they didn't get enough points under the cultural tests. And as the judge says, the respondent resists disclosure on the basis so that they then ask the board, the WRC, and the IAT when they appeal there to give them the answers to the questions.
Mm-hmm.
To give them the answers to the questions.
Right, yes.
Beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what the judge says. The respondents resist disclosure on the basis that it would undermine the integrity of the tests. Mr. Eakin from the Ministry of Border Control and Labor explained that the tests consist of 40 multiple choice questions.
Mm-hmm.
These questions...
What paragraph is that?
That's paragraph 94.
Okay, thanks.
These questions were generated randomly for each testing sessions from a bank of 300 to 400 questions. Test results were recorded on a workforce, opportunities, and resistance command database. Neither the board nor the IAT, the Immigration Appeal Tribunal, see the questions and answers. They report the score obtained from the database. Disclosure is limited to prevent applications merely learning by rote the questions and answers rather than genuinely seeking to learn the history and culture of the islands. The possibility of memorizing the questions and answers is said to undermine the purpose of the test, which is to assess the applicant's integration into Caymanian society by reference to knowledge of local history, tradition, customs, and current events. What evidence recorded in the ombudsman? So the appellant's typoset is to refer to the ease with which the questions and answers can be obtained online. The online versions were not the subject of any evidence, and the respondents merely declined to admit or deny whether the online version were accurate. So they were not satisfied with that. So they made an application to the ombudsman for disclosure of the questions under the Freedom of Information Act. As it says, the arguments advanced by the appellants may have been the same or similar to those advanced before the ombudsman, but the juridical basis was different. The ombudsman was dealing with the refusal of the board to disclose under the Freedom of Information Act 2018 revision. The judge consideration was not constrained by the act or by the decisions of the ombudsman. And they went on to say that the ombudsman had declined disclosure was not a reason for the judge to do so. Accordingly, we must ourselves consider the legality of the refusal to order disclosure.
Okay.
And they went on to say the assessment of those responsible for the test that its purpose would be undermined is not impunged on the basis that it is irrational. The decision as to how to administer the test is a matter for those responsible. Of course, if there was an assertion that at the time these applicants took their tests, the questions and answers were inaccurate, then the court would have expected a positive sworn assertions that they were not. In other words, they refused to, and they went on to say, at paragraph 101, there is a further reason why neither the board nor the IAT were in error in refusing disclosure. In the instant case, there was no purpose to be achieved. Even if the applicants had been awarded the maximum, they would, as we have pointed out, not achieve the required number of points. Accordingly, to undermine the policy decision when nothing could be gained by the applicants would be unjustified. And for that reason alone, disclosure was neither relevant nor material to any issue in the case, and disclosure could not have made the slightest difference to the applicant's position. So they dismissed the allegations, the submissions, that it was because of lack of disclosure of the questions that they didn't qualify.
Yes,
they get the amount of points that they
and even if they had gotten the full points, it still would not have changed. You know,
changed the decision.
The total score that would have allowed them. Now, and I'm glad that this was brought up because there are people who are skeptical and sometimes criticize work and the department in relation to what they do. And it is quite clear here that what they have laid out there in terms of the tests and everything is you know, they try to make it as foolproof as possible. Because I keep hearing, or I shouldn't say keep hearing, I've heard on occasions that the tests that is given at the DVDL, Department of Vehicle and Driver's License, that sometimes they say to persons, use this computer as opposed to that computer. And I'm wondering whether or not DVDL takes the same approach and uses a similar system so that these questions are randomly generated, because here they're talking about something like about 400 questions that are randomly generated as well. So that is important. What we're going to do, Ms. Susan, we're going to go, you ready for headline news now? We're going to encourage people. We're going to take a break, allow you to call in to ask a few questions, because we basically want to wrap this up possibly today, because I'm not sure, next week, Monday, I do have guests, but not sure. I have to check to see whether or not Parliament is over, because I'm sure that we will have people wanting to come in, some members wanting to come in to talk about what has taken place in Parliament as well. So we're going to open the phone lines up. We're going to ask each person to be as brief as possible. 1-800-534-8255, 949-8037, 949-6990. WhatsApp us 925-3261 as well. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
On a daily basis, making it easy to connect with you, our listeners. Add us to WhatsApp today, 925-3261. That's 925-3261.
Radio Cayman.
Send a text or voice note.
Can I send a request, please?
You don't really have to ask us. Just send a request.
This is a shout out to my ex. Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
You are listening to Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The headline news is brought to you by Health Services Authority.
Before adjourning Parliament's proceedings after 1 a.m. for the second day in a row, the Premier asked all MPs be ready to meet again today at 10 a.m. They're set to deal with the remaining government bills and parliamentary questions. You can catch all the proceedings live on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM. A wave of Russian airstrikes on cities across Ukraine, including Kyiv, have left at least 19 people dead. 17, including a child, were killed in an attack that hit a block of flats in the central city of Uman, and a woman and her 3-year-old daughter were killed in a nearby city, according to the local mayor. The Russian Defense Ministry said its military had targeted Ukrainian Army Reserve units with the strike. And former U.S. Vice President Mike Pence has testified as part of a criminal investigation to alleged efforts by Donald Trump to overturn his defeat in the 2020 election. The 63-year-old sat for more than 7 hours before a federal grand jury in Washington, D.C. He was issued with a subpoena to testify under oath earlier this year. The questioning by prosecutors took place behind closed doors. His appearance on Thursday came just hours after an appeals court rejected a last-ditch bid by Mr. Trump's legal team to stop Mr. Pence from testifying. Those are your headlines. I'm Carson Lee Fuller.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
The headline news are brought to you by Health Services Authority.
HSA's cardiology clinic is now located at Smith Road Medical Center. Our cardiology team provides expert care and treatment for heart conditions such as coronary artery disease, heart failure, arrhythmias, hypertension, congenital heart diseases, among others. The new location offers state-of-the-art cardiac diagnostic testing, including echocardiograms, ECGs, and stress tests. To contact, call 949-8600. At HSA, your heart matters to us.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Dr. Steve McField. We haven't finished with the Court of Appeals decision, but we're going to take some calls at this point in time. We're asking everyone to please be as brief as possible. We want to cover as many because we have to return to this as well. And before we go there, I just want to point out that Minister Bryan has also pointed out to us that he also spoke on this of the serious immigration issues, and he spoke about that when he debated the strategic policy statement. He pointed out also that we are arguing about the monies in the proposed strategic policy statement projected budget when the things the people want us to address do not cost 1 penny. For instance, immigration legislation reform, minimum wage, or international obligations in some treaties as well. And we expect to hear from Minister Bryan also. Let's go to the phone lines. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Good morning to Doctor.
Good morning, Lord Graham. How are you?
Morning. I'm good. Concerning the court appeal, it seems to me, and it concerns me, that here is the court of appeal, one of the highest court we have in the land, are testing the waters, and I think they're doing that to see what our reaction will be. And if we are soft enough to make one go through, then it could be open season. So I think that we need to hold strong and make the authorities or whoever know that we're not going to settle for something like that. And apparently, after hearing you explain the Constitution and the powers that they have with the highest law of the land, apparently it seems like the politicians are not familiar with the Constitution, or they don't have a copy of the Constitution, because read in the Constitution, it gives them the powers to do so many things that there seems to be reluctant or afraid to do, whereas they're being protected by the Constitution, which is the highest law in the land.
Yes.
So I don't see why they should not be able to do the things that need to be done, which is being protected by the Constitution.
Yes, what we have indicated, they have the right to place conditions on people who come into work, and like we say, one of the conditions that they ought to be placing now, or should be placed now, is the condition of the not the right to import cars until when the government gives them that right, and not to fish and take fish from the iron shores and so forth, deplete those resources until they get a license to do so.
Before my time runs up, and the one you mentioned about the guy from prison, but that gentleman that married to the Caymanian, he also have an option. He can take his wife and his child back to his hometown also, his place of origin.
Yes.
You don't have to live in Cayman. You also have an option.
Yes, you're correct about that, Lord Graham.
And there was a time, Lord Graham, there was a time, and societies have changed, where, you would say that the wife followed the husband to where he was gone.
Yes.
That has changed considerably now. Is the husband following the wife? Whichever is more convenient.
Whichever is more convenient, yes.
The tail wagging the dog now.
Yes.
So you coming? You guys coming by later?
Yes.
Brian, I just got a call from Kenneth Brian. He'll be at my place exactly 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Leaving there late.
Okay.
So that might be a good place where we can grab him, and we might not be able to get back to there today. So we'll be there at 1.
Let's see you later then.
Okay then.
Okay, Lord Graham. Any other calls, Miss Susan? Let's grab the next caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, O.C. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm fine. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. Morning to the doc.
Good morning, sir.
I wish I could tell Lord Graham I come in there too, but I look like my old nephew didn't include me.
Yes.
Man, I would love to come and sit down and talk with you gentlemen a little bit, but anyway, just touching on that point system business, I really wish, I'll be honest with you two gentlemen this morning, I wish the government will do away with that. Why I say that is, I see a situation here in the Broccoli part. An individual came from his country. He came here under the same point system, bought a piece of property, built a fancy home, bought fancy vehicles, and now today, he would have been here about 4 years, if I'm not mistaken. He now been here long, and now today he sold the big old house, big old for the cars, and now he gone. No,
I don't think he would have been here under the point system. Then, if he'd only been here for 4 years, he wouldn't qualify. He could qualify for permanent residence of a person of independent means.
Yeah, so I don't know when he fell under the point system or just the PR, but whatever he fell under, now today, the government don't have nothing that he put down here into get any benefit off of that. So I don't understand why the government allowing this system to come in play. It to me, I just seen it as something that got destroyed the three islands, in a sense, because it's not gonna benefit the government. It just benefiting for those that, if you ask me, that are willing and hoping to run for election again. That's all I am seeing out of this, out of that. And I might correct me if I'm wrong on anything I said regarding that, but sure. I mean to listen to those political meetings that they were having there these last 2 nights. I couldn't stay up till 2 o'clock that morning. I managed to stay there till almost 1 o'clock. But I mean, it's just a back and forth argument to something, and it doesn't seem like one individual understanding and the other, like what Lord Graham said just now, that about the tail. But anyway, I just think they should revise that back and come out of that, because I've been saying our government needs to put down a restriction in this country and be like China. You can come here, you can work here, but you can't buy and build here. Mm-hmm. That is how we should be.
I think there are many more people now who are of that opinion, especially with the finite resources that we have in terms of land.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I mean, what are going to be there for our future? I am so tired of hearing people talking about billing today for today. But see, we have a future. I got 4 children. That is the future. Where do they come and play in this country?
So what kind of population growth you envisage for Cayman? What do you see the population eventually becoming or being?
Okay, all right. Let me say, and I said it before. The only population can come here is from worldwide, because our Cayman people cannot make 30,000 babies within the next 4 years.
That's a truism.
And can you imagine, OC, Doc, this morning, Kim and Brock getting a population of 5,000 people or more? Let's say 10,000 people for this little island. Can you imagine? They're talking about a cluster of situations with vehicles. You're not going to be able to get in the shop, and if you ask me, because the population got to get, Kim and Brock would have to have a population of about 8,000 people, including Grand Cayman, to meet the 100 nod. Trust me, it's not going to stop at 100 nod. It got to go 150, 175, 200,000, and it's no end. And they are called foreigners into this country. We are not. We're going to be, well, we are populated now, but we're going to be quadruple taken over. So where are we, and where is our future in these 3 islands? And there's got to be no future for nobody in these 3 islands, because we're going to have we are not going to be the Romans anymore, OC.
Okay. Caller, thank you very much for that. We have another caller, Ms. Susan. Let's take the commercial break, because we'll only have about 2 minutes for that caller. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
There you go, sir. Thanks for choosing JN Money Transfer.
Boy, thanks to JN Money Transfer, I can stay right here in Cayman and pay mama bills back home in Jamaica. Her water, light, phone and other bills never late. Every month I pay everything in one place.
Make payments to over 30 companies in Jamaica through JN Money Transfer. Fast, affordable, convenient. Call 1-800-744-1163 for details.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
The 9th annual Little Cayman Agriculture Show has returned Saturday, April 29th at Blossom Village Park. Radio Cayman will be broadcasting live from Little Cayman starting at 10 a.m. Celebrate Caymanian culture and enjoy cool sea breezes, agricultural displays, competitions, and entertainment. Radio Cayman's broadcast of the Little Cayman Agriculture Show is brought to you by L&M Variety Store, Baha'i Faith, Foster's, UCCI, Cayman National, Kirkconnell Market, Cayman Brack Power and Light, and the Little Cayman National Trust.
The application deadline for Education Council Local Scholarships for the 2023-2024 academic year is Sunday, 30th of April, 2023. To apply for an Education Council local scholarship, please visit the Ministry of Education's Scholarship Application Portal at moescholarships.gov.ky or email the Scholarship Secretariat Unit at scholarships@gov.ky to learn more. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Education's Scholarship Secretariat Unit.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're going straight to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
All right, good morning to you. Good morning, Dr. Steve.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's a brilliant morning in the jewel of the Caribbean, the Cayman Islands. I want you to know, before I start my little comments here, it's going to be short, see. At 60 plus, I'm about to be enrolled in the law school. I'm going to do, I always loved the law, Steve, and I think I can read quite well still and comprehend, and I think I'm going to go take a little law course and be a better person and better schooled, even though I'm not a spring chicken. But I still love the law, and I think I have the capability to take a 4-year course and probably 5 years or whatever it takes. But I think I'm going to give it a run. So I want you to know that, Steve.
That's good. Just let you know, when I went to law school in Canada, 2 of my friends at law school, their father was 65 years old when he joined the law school. He had just retired from the Canadian Army. And instead of going home and sitting down and spending his retirement money, he came to law school to enhance his life and to sharpen his mind. And I thought that was a great thing. He was a great student.
Did he finish?
Definitely, he finished and started a law firm with both his sons.
Nice, very nice. But I intend to get qualified, and the 2 of us going to take on the biggest case in Cayman in our latter years, Steve. That's a prediction.
I don't know. I think I don't like the courtroom much like I used to anymore, George.
Listen, see, I'm not a lawyer, but that's why I'm going to go back to law school because I love the law. But I do have a little company that I dabble in cases involving immigration issues, as you know. Mm-hmm. But there's things that I see. In fact, I had a case recently, last year, that I had appealed to the tribunal, and I had mentioned in my, even though as a non-lawyer, but I do have the ability as an agent to make a case in regards to why I'm appealing. And I had brought up on that occasion family life, but he didn't have the money. I think that the tribunal took notice of it, but then at that time they still went along with the decision of the director of work, saying that they were going to uphold his decision, but the client didn't have the money to take it any further. But there are things that I see on the forms of each of the immigration forms to be filled out, and it gives me pause to say, there's a word there that has real deep meaning, and it gets completely overlooked. And many times they ask the question when you're applying for different things. They ask you, on what date did you become a legal resident in the Cayman Islands. When you get a work permit, you also are deemed to be a legal resident.
Legal resident,
That's
yes.
right. Yes.
And you know that word legal resident it has deep legal and social and psychological and all kind of meanings, Dr. Steve.
Mm-hmm.
And so that word is embedded on every immigration form that you fill out, because even on the front page of every immigration form, it asks you, what did you become a legal resident in the Cayman Islands?
Mm-hmm.
And that word has always given me pause to say, and because to me, sometimes a client comes to me and they have on the form, work permit started. I said, no, it's not a work permit. You became a legal resident on that date. To me, it's a completely different status, really.
Well,
a legal resident to me is stronger than just a work permit.
Well, a legal resident makes a distinction between a permission to as a visitor than when you are subject to immigration controls, and when you have the right. When you have the right then to stay in the island because of some reasons, and that is because you're working, but you're not a legal resident when you come off the plane and say you came to visit your grandmother or your brother or your sister.
Yeah. That word legal resident is referring to the date that you actually legally became domicile or whatever
which is usually the effective date of the work permit that has been issued.
And I just want to say, I was listening to my good friend's earlier call, Lord Graham and then the gentleman from the BRAC. You know, I actually sympathize with them. But, you know, Dr. Stephen, I think you and OC may agree with me. You know, these euphoria positions that we would like to be in, you know, we are really powerless to control our own destiny unless we take it upon ourselves to control our destiny. And that is to move away and become a outstanding little island in the Caribbean where we are paddling our own canoe. We can't, and plus we have a democratic system and an economic system that is called laissez-faire, free economic system. If we keep those things up, which I guess we will, we are not in control of our destiny. We are not, gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We are not in control of where we're going, and we are going to get the 100,000 people, whether we like it or not. If we keep the same modus operandi of laissez-faire, anything can be appealed. We have to be honest with you, that's why this case that we're talking about, that you guys were talking about this morning, comes down to, again, the ballot box. That's why when you go to the ballot box, we should be electing the best of the best.
Mm. But Caller, when you say about cases being appealed, and I know that you have had experiences where, or people who have had experiences where the legal recourses are not necessarily that generous and available to you. What the court system and the legal system does at the end of the day, it helps to clarify law because they interpret law. And that is why we have legislators. And when we come back to this particular judgment, we will talk about what the Court of Appeals has said in relation to that. There's nothing wrong with legal challenges, even though, I pointed out earlier that sometimes it may be repulsive to know that you have invited people to come here, allow them to work based on, a Caymanian or a Caymanian company having work for them to do, applying for a work permit and getting it, and then they slap us in the face with a lawsuit later on. While that may be morally repugnant, it is, it's a legal right that they have. Now, when the courts make a decision, and we have the ability in most instances to take it all the way up to the highest court, which is the court, the Privy Council, at the end of the day, the legislators then have the option to correct whatever deficiencies are in the law to be able to attain their objectives.
You are absolutely you are absolutely 100% correct with that. But sometimes I think the laws could be better fashioned from the outset. But anyway, but you are right. You are right. It's probably better to have the court clarify a point of law, and then legislators then consider that and see whether they want to fine tune the law to accommodate that.
Excellent. We're gonna
just want listen.
Very quickly.
I want to remind you of what Shakespeare said. All of us really of what Shakespeare said in Macbeth Act 2 about the law. He said he was discussing this with his colleague in the play, but he said and this is Shakespeare words. The law can be an ass. The law can be an ass. That is in Macbeth Act 2. Shakespeare.
I'm sure that Dr. McField has heard that in law school as well, and that has been a thing. Caller, thank you. Thank you very much for that. We're going to grab another caller before we go to our commercial break. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Mr. O'Connor.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Okay, and good morning to Dr. Steve.
Good morning, sir.
I was watching a documentary yesterday with some currency in the Caribbean. Cayman has the highest currency in the Caribbean. And they said maybe even soon in the whole world.
And the most stable as well.
Yes, that's what people come in here for, not because they love us, Don't forget that. Not because they love us. Okay? And when it comes to independence, but I'm serious about this, When it comes to independence, what would we have to do to keep our currency the same?
We would. My view on that is that we don't have to do anything. We have it pegged to the U.S. dollar, and we keep it that way. We may decide, who goes on the cover, of our currency, of our bank notes and stuff like that. But in terms of its linkage, we don't need to do anything.
We might want to back it up by gold, but that would be an option that we have.
Yeah.
Okay. And when it comes to our passport, how are we able to have our passport that we're able to use our Cayman Islands passport the same as we're now doing with a British passport?
I'm glad he mentioned the passport thing, because I hear people talking about the fact that, I only have a Cayman passport. I will not apply for a British passport. I wonder if they realize that even though the passport says Cayman Islands on it, that it's a British passport because we're a colony of the UK.
And physically, it's even printed by them. And
we have no control over printing. So whether you choose to get a British passport or a Cayman one that says Cayman on it, it is still British. It is not ours. Please remember that. Okay, we're going to take an early commercial break. We do have a caller. We want to thank that caller as well. And we will respond to his the question that he has posed there afterwards as well. We have a caller on hold. We want that caller to hang in there because we want to give him an opportunity, rather than having to break in for a commercial. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Capella Music Festival is back. Saturday, April 29th at the Festival Green at Camana Bay, featuring a jam-packed lineup of local performers and international stars. UB40, Coffee, Kez the Band, and Leanne Rhymes. Purchase your tickets now at CapellaMusicFestival.com. Brought to you by Camana Bay, Cayman Airways, Remax, Sandbar, Massive Equipment Rental, the Cayman Islands Department of Tourism.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the people's station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
West Bay Pharmacy. Personalized medicine, customized care to meet your specific needs. Your body is unique to you. Your medicine should be too. Whether you're seeking individual specific medication, correct size dosages, or simply better tasting medicine, ask your pharmacist or healthcare provider about how compounding at West Bay Pharmacy can increase your treatment options, not only for your family, but for your pets too. West Bay Pharmacy, open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sundays and most holidays from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We have less than half an hour to go in the show. Before we go to our caller, I just want to acknowledge birthday greetings to Emery Bush, who's 2 years old today, and that is birthday greetings. They're coming from your grandmother, Carol Schrock. So happy birthday, second birthday to Emery Bush, coming from Grandma Carol Schrock. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller. Welcome to For the Record. And okay, Doc, go right ahead and talk about Section 87 while we get to. Okay, she's back on her seat now. We need you to put the caller through. No caller. Good morning, caller. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning. Good morning, OC.
Good morning. Good morning, Minister. How are you?
Not too bad.
Finally able to get to you. Thanks.
Can you hear me well?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Good morning, Dr. McField.
Good morning, Mr. Minister. How are you, sir?
Not too bad, sir. Not too bad. As you know, I'm an avid listener to the program, and I always listen, particularly when Dr. McField is on. And I heard you reference to some of the fireworks, particularly in Parliament recently. But fireworks not in a bad way, fireworks in a necessary way, if I dare say.
Yes.
Particularly when it comes to the topic of the East-West Arterial and the SBS. Obviously, this was a very heated topic, but it's necessary for the public to understand where the representation, their voices stand on particular issues. And two things, obviously, I sent you a message, OC, in respect to the SBS.
Yes, I share that with our audience.
Okay. But I think it's important that though we are moving forward in our projections for the next 2 years and the projected amount of money that we'll have available to us as of January 1st next year and what our intentions to do with them, I think that it's important that we as a people, and you can voice this to your representatives, my people of Georgetown Central have voiced it to me, so I know it's a top priority for me, And it has nothing to do with monies allocated for a park, a building, a school, a road, or anything like that. Matter of fact, it's something that costs us no money. And that is the immigration reform that is necessary to protect our people. Because though people are worried about, putting food on their table, they're worried about being able to have a house to live in. They're also worried about being in traffic, healthcare costs, and all these other things. The protection of Caymanians' ability to exist is at the top of their list because they feel marginalized more so than ever before. And we can tell that our formation of our structure, rightfully, I know it was never intended to be this way, but we have to recognize that our current structure of our immigration challenges is not in the best favor for Caymanians in the long term. Matter of fact, if we don't do something immediately within the next year to 2 years, I think that it may be reversible. Because once the balance of power switches over to those who are less focused on our culture, our behavior, and our habits of who we are as a country, then the country just disappears naturally on its own. So things like, as I said in the text, immigration reform, the point system definitely has to change altogether. I'm a strong proponent to take away the points for land purchase and house purchases because that just creates a demand on properties, which ultimately increases the prices of homes and land that out of the reach of your average Caymanian. So that is a big part. But also this notion of this automatic right to tenancy here in the Cayman Islands, I don't necessarily agree with that legal opinion. And I think it's worth the challenge regardless if we lose it or not, because we are such a small jurisdiction, we cannot continue to adopt this immigration policy. It's going to, we're going to lose our country. And I've expressed that to Her Excellency, the Governor, for us to re-examine that, because all of this is based on interpretation of obligation internationally. And I don't think that the same obligations from a multi-million population country like the UK can be seen in the same fashion here in the Cayman Islands. Now, obviously, our British overseas territorial links puts us in some obligations, but I think the UK themselves are in their own way recognizing that there has to be reforms to these international obligations. You see that where they've now had Brexit and moved away from the European Union. They're reforming their asylum legislation because they recognize they're having their own immigration problems. So we are justified, very much justified, to go back to the table with the foreign state, Secretary of State, to say, listen, we have to renegotiate how we are obligated to certain things within our Constitution. Just for a prime example, we're spending millions of dollars on Cubans based on our obligation when we can use those millions of dollars to buy Caymanians homes. Also the interpretation of if a person is here for 10 years where they have a legal right to be here. I don't agree with that. I am happy to give persons a long-term 10-year agreement that you can be here for, say, for instance, 20 years, but do not automatically get the rights to be a Caymanian. And that's what Caymanians are concerned about, because once you get that right, you get the right to compete economically, and you get the right to own a business, and then put the pressure on the Caymanians who are currently in this economy, which is theirs. Other things like legislation that we can get passed quickly to help Caymanians is the minimum wage. That doesn't cost us one penny. So I just, in my debate, I don't know if both of you gentlemen had an opportunity to hear my contributions, but in my contributions, though we may discuss and debate about whether or not we have enough money to do certain projects, I think the things that the people want us to fix is not necessarily whether there's a road or a building or a school or these other things, but the system upon which Caymanians operate and survive in, because they're feeling that they're getting lost. And I know that it may have come off as if to say, well, is the government unified on this? I am still an independent member of a PAC administration, whereby I'm obligated to the people of Georgetown Central and the Greater Cayman Islands. And when I put my list of priorities in place about what things are topical to them, a Caymanian would say something to me like this: as much as I am fighting for a house, Kenneth, I want you to get more houses for Caymanians. They would say, I'd still put the immigration reform at the top of that, because it makes no sense to have a house if I'm living in a system where I'm no longer relevant within the next 5 to 10 years. So that at the top of it, and again, I go back to the fact that this has nothing to do with money. It has to do with policy on how we protect our people in this country. And the next 2 years has to be focused on that. Obviously, you can do that at the same time as whatever monies you do have available to put in infrastructure to make things easier, like the traffic, like housing. But immigration reform has to be the number one priority for us to protect our people.
Got you.
In respect to the East-West Arterial, yes, Dr. McField was 100% correct. It didn't seem like the government was unified because we have differing views on the priorities in respect to whether or not the cabinet has the power by law to mandate whether there should be an EIA or not. And this, the law that covers the National Conservation Council is very controversial from both sides and even within the government. And the fact that there is a call for it to, an EIA process for a certain section of the road to not be mandatory has called into question. It tells me, and by way of its support in Parliament, it tells me that there needs to be a reform to the National Conservation Law, because if the people's voice, the people are supposed to be the most powerful thing in this land, the people, and the people have selected a group of representatives to be their voice. And if the majority of the people who have been selected to represent the masses have said, we want this to be done by ignoring X, Y, and Z, regardless of whether you like it or not, that's democracy and that's how it works. And it seems as if the creation of the National Conservation Council can supersede what the people want. And now, granted, I'm not suggesting that the National Conservation Council isn't important. It's a great, great guider to the country to the best ways to deal with our environment and our conservation practices. But there is times when there's national emergencies, and I personally believe that the East-West Arterial is a national emergency from many different angles, whether it's from traffic, whether it's from emergency access points, from economic development, from diversification of our workforce. Because the problem why we have so much traffic is we have every single person in this country coming in one direction. From the west, they're coming south to Georgetown. From the east, they're coming west to Georgetown. And that's where our biggest problem is. Mm-hmm. And if we want to truly have a national development plan, we have to have a mean arterial that encourages movement of the centralization of job forces in western side of the island. So, like say, for instance, you were right, Dr. McField, to say that the government is leasing almost 1.5 times the size of the government building across the island. And that's because we don't have the space, we don't have another government building, and there was always a plan for that. And I'm saying that in our planning, we should create that road and start to think about building a new government building to the eastern side of the island. So people who work for government, because government is one of the biggest employers in the country, that you can have probably 50% of the people who come into town actually going east. And if you can cut traffic in half, I'm certain that we wouldn't have the serious traffic problems that we have before. Now, many people have, not looked great at the progressives for the amount of money they spent on the schools, but that is a good foundation for a new town to be built. Mm-hmm. You have a great high school in the eastern districts. You have schools, supermarkets starting to build up there, housing developments. The only problem that we don't have to the eastern side is actually where you work. And from a traffic solution perspective, we have to start considering decentralizing the western side of the island. So these types of things is what I believe as a part of this government we need to start focusing on, because these are the types of things that affect the quality of life, not only for immediately, but for the long term for our children. If we can't fix it immediately, because some of these problems are very complex, but at least we can make it easier for our children and grandchildren. They won't have to see it, because it's not going to be fixed overnight. But we have to start talking about that, and that's why that road is so essential. Now, granted, I accept the environmental, and I'll wrap it up now, Osika. Mm-hmm, yep. I just want to say this last part about the environment. I recognize the environmental concerns, the ecosystems that are there, but technology today and the advancements that we have can have a good balance of that road going through potentially some sensitive areas, and we alleviate that as much as we possibly can. And where we can't alleviate it, you use technology and engineering to make sure it doesn't have as much of a negative effect on that area. And you can put protections around the wetland areas, because as I've been informed by the Minister for Roads, it's only about 3 miles of a 12-mile distance that has the wetland area. So while the other part of this is that the environmental impact assessment is taking too long. It is taking too long. And I gave the example in Parliament to say, when the pandemic came and they were trying to get the vaccine done, they normally would take about 10 years for a vaccine to be approved. They got all the specialists across the world together and sat down and got it done within 1 year. And I believe because it's a national important issue, we should do the same with this. If you need to bring 50 environmental experts to come in one time to get it done in 3 months, do so. Get them working. But the people need to have some relief coming up very soon. Their mental health, their cost for fuel, the fact of family life being lost, all these elements we've heard numerous times by many legislators and in the public, we have to get it done. It's not about, we're doing the environmental assessment and it's going to take 3 years before we do it. The people have had enough in respect to this area, and they want the matter fixed now. And as a part of the government, my position is, let's get it done now. There's no excuses in my mind why we can't move faster with this. We've been in government 2 years now, and I'm to the point now where I said I want it done now. And I have that right on behalf of the people I represent and the greater country. So I'll stop there. There's a lot I've said, but I would love to hear your feedback on that, particularly from Dr. McField.
Okay, thank you very much. Folks, we're going to take our last commercial break. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly, closing off the phone lines as well.
I tell you what, I need to find a way to bring my electricity costs down. I don't want to see another high bill next month.
Have you tried doing an energy audit?
A what?
An energy audit. The do-it-yourself energy audits on energy.gov.ky make it easy to find ways to save energy and money in your home or business.
Oh yeah? I'm going to log on to that website right now. What was it again?
Visit energy.gov.ky to download do-it-yourself energy audits for your home or business. There is even a fun activity guide for kids.
Complete an energy audit of your home or business before 31st of May 2023 to be entered into a prize giveaway. Prizes include a $5,000 gift certificate to Home Gas and gift certificates to Cooling Pros, Foam Pros, Costulest, and Foster's.
Visit energy.gov.ky today and follow the National Energy Policy on Facebook and Instagram.
It's time to celebrate 40 years of Cayman Carnival Banabanu. 40 years of tradition, culture, making history. Experience the rhythm, the energy, the excitement of Banabanu under the theme All Nations One Celebration. On Saturday, May 6th, celebrate Cayman Islands, Honduras, Jamaica, India, Cuba, Panama, Mexico, Trinidad, and the U.S. through music, dance, and stunning costumes. The parade starts at 1 p.m. from 7 Mile Public Beach and ends at Seafarers Way, Georgetown. For the food festival and the last lap street dance with 3 music stages to enjoy. Cayman Carnival Banabanu, Saturday, May 6th, starting at 1 p.m. from 7 Mile Beach. Join us celebrating 40 years of a colorful melting pot of nations. Visit CaymanCarnival.com for more information.
The Ministry of Education invites eligible Caymanians to apply for an Education Council Local Scholarship for the 2023-2024 academic year. To apply for a local scholarship or learn more about various scholarship offerings, please visit the Scholarship Secretariat Unit's website at www.moescholarships.gov.ky. Applications close on Sunday, April 30th, 2023. Brought to you by the Ministry of Education.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We are on the last leg of the show. We've closed off the phone lines. I'm going to just share one comment from one of our listeners in relation to Minister Bryan's comments. And it says, what Minister Bryan is saying is setting a very dangerous precedent. The will of the people cannot and must not trump the law. We have no evidence how many people want or don't want to follow the National Conservation Law. We must remain a land of laws, and politicians must follow the law. If not, they must advocate and work to change the laws. Anything else will lead to corruption and anarchy. And I must say that Minister Bryan pointed out the fact that we need to look at the National Conservation Law to see whether or not changes, need to be made there as well. But again, data. We need to know it. We don't do, enough surveys on this island to determine, exactly, what the population, the people of the Cayman Islands, how they feel, what they feel as well. So, Doc, let's look at Section 87. I'm going to try to wrap this up in 12 minutes. Section 87 in the judgment says, However, the absence, declaration of incompatibility. However, the absence of any provision which allows for consideration of Section 9 other than within the point system, and the legislative exclusion of any possibility of granting permanent residence other than under the system are, for the reasons we have given, incompatible with Section 9 of the Bill of Rights. We are required by Section 23, subsection 1 of the Bill of Rights so to declare. We cannot, however, dictate how Parliament should remedy the incompatibility, but would only suggest that the model adopted in the United Kingdom, which accepts that a point system is not comprehensive but allows for exceptional cases, may remedy the incompatibility we have identified. Your comments?
Well, and then they went on to say, neither appellant achieved the 110 points it needed, and even if they had attained the maximum points under the history and cultural tests, 8 points more from Mr. Murray, 3.5 points more from Mr. De Souza, they would not have reached the total. Applicants were only allowed to take this test once.
Okay.
Now, they say that because we do not have any other system under it in our jurisdiction other than the point system to decide who will be allowed to stay and who will be allowed to go, in exceptional cases, that's incompatible with the bit of Section 9. I mean, Mr. For the record, you know that our point system is comprehensive. It has everything in it. It even takes into account Section 9. But it seems to me that the applicants did not plead or made submissions about Section 9 until after the decision had been made against them. And when they were asking for a rehearing, that is when they brought up Section 9. So it seems to me that what the court is saying, you have a point system that dictates the procedure for you to become a permanent resident in Cayman Islands. And in that procedure, you have to achieve 110 points to become a permanent resident. But if you don't get 110 points under that system, the system that we say is comprehensive, that we should allow another system to take into account exceptional circumstances when people don't reach the number of points to be a permanent resident.
But the point system itself includes exceptional circumstances in itself.
Exactly. And what they went on to say, and this is what I take issue with the most in this case. They went on to say, we would only suggest that the model adopted in the United Kingdom, which accepts that a point system is not accepted, would be may be. What they're saying, that we should adopt the same system they have in the UK, or similar to that in the UK, taking into account, and they're not taking into account that this is some people say a 4x4 island, an island of 96 square miles. No, it's not it's not even the size of a small town in England, a small town, much a county, and they expect us to adopt the same system as the United Kingdom in our country. That means that they're out of touch with what's the reality that we face, and that is the reason why I am so against this judgment, and I say, and this is why I concur with the Minister Brian, that this
decision should be appealed.
This matter should be appealed to the Privy Council to see what they have to say about it.
Let's look at this part now. So the paragraph that says the decision in the appellant's case says what then follows. As we have already indicated, neither of these appellants has advanced any case whatever which would justify reliance on Section 9 outside of the point system. So outside of the point system, they didn't put an argument in that regard. No. In describing the impact on their private lives, they have not pointed to any feature which would lead to the balance between their interests and those of the islands being struck in a way any different to that which is dictated by the point system under the rules. In those circumstances, these are paradigm cases in which a board or tribunal on appeal would be justified in saying that no issue under Section 9 arises other than under the point system in the way suggested, and a go to the case. Says if applicants want some particular feature to be taken into account under Section 9, which they assert the point system fails to reflect, they must identify that feature and explain why it is not reflected in the point system they foresee will be awarded when in the points they foresee will be awarded when they make their case for permanent residence to the board or on appeal to a tribunal. Neither of these appellants did or could do so. There were no factors which would have justified consideration of their Section 9 rights outside the point system. And thus, even if the legislation had allowed consideration of Section 9 other than by an award of points, it could have made no difference in light of the cases they advanced. The decision in their case was proportionate and consistent with Section 9. They are not entitled to any relief under those grounds. So they weren't entitled to any Section 9 relief simply because they didn't really advance it. They didn't point forward. But even if they had, they would not.
They would have succeeded.
Right, they would not have succeeded. Now, what is interested in this, and I was thinking about it the other day, when you look at cases, for instance, refugee cases, deportation cases, if a person, and this is why states try to avoid the whole issue of, to ensure that they address the issue of statelessness. Mm-hmm. If any of these applicants were stateless as a result of, of whatever, mm-hmm. then that might have been position of statelessness would have been an exceptional circumstances. Exactly.
But they all had countries. They were all nationals of places where they lived. They had passports from that issued by other countries where they could go freely.
And I'm wondering whether or not we need in some of our legislation to include that point that unless the applicant is stateless.
Yes.
And what we wouldn't want to encourage, then people to try to become stateless so that they can remain. Because there are some who argue that because of the fact that I swore allegiance to another country, I have lost my citizenship of a particular country, which may or may not be true, as well. So with that, at the end of the day, the only successful ground that you would say that the appellants, were able to, and can we?
They had no successful ground.
No success.
They only no success. The only thing that came out of the case is that the Court of Appeal now has gone out, like they did in the same-sex marriage case, and say this is what they suggest that we should do.
Mm-hmm. Can you read that again?
Yeah.
Can you find that section where they say that?
87.
87? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Let's read that one more time for our listening.
It says, however, the absence of any provisions which allows for consideration of Section 9, that's the section 9 is the right to family life. Factors other than within the point system and the legislative exclusion of any possibility of granting permanent residence other than under the system are for the reasons we have given incompatible with Section 9 of the Bill of Rights, and we are required by Section 23(1) of the Bill of Rights to declare. We cannot, however, dictate how Parliament should remedy the incompatibility, but would only suggest that the model adopted in the United Kingdom, which accepts that a point system is not comprehensive but allows for exceptional cases, may remedy the incompatibility we have identified. So our point system should be like the point system in the UK. That's what they're saying. Our point system is different from the point system in the UK.
Exactly.
Our point system is different from the point system in Canada.
Because their circumstances are different.
It's completely different. That's the point we're trying to make.
Yes.
It's completely different.
Yeah.
And it doesn't behold me that these judges who come over here and they hear the cases and they're just like some other people. They come and they want us to be from the place that they come from.
Yeah, they have no appreciation of our particular circumstance and the threat that we face here in the Cayman Islands. And Doc, you know why that is so important? Because we talk about judges in the Cayman Islands, and when we look at the justices that we have in the Cayman Islands, we have few of if any, that are true-born Caymanians.
That's right. There's no Grand Court judge that are true-born Caymanians.
And it goes back to my assertion that I made the other day that no matter how you become Caymanian other than through bloodlines, there is no way that you can feel it. You cannot feel it, and that is why it is so important for our judiciary, our judicial system, to include more Caymanians. We have to get more Caymanians involved into it. The old saying that goes, "He who feels it knows it."
Yes.
And I'll add to that, he who feels it knows it and will be able to address it.
And I'll leave you with this. At the meeting that the Park government had the other night, the midterm report at the waterfront, the Minister of Education made a remark and said that she wished Dr. McField would help teach the school children the history of their culture and their country. That would be fine. I would be able to do that. But I remember when they were doing the history book, I tried to get in on the act to try to put in my 2 cents, and I wasn't allowed. But I just want to leave people with this: we were wampers wearing people. It's only those who wear the wampers understand how the wampers feel when you wear them.
Exactly.
If you come from New York wearing patent leather shoes, you cannot describe how people wear wampers and how they feel.
And if you don't know what wampers is, wampers are those what some people would consider slippers today that were made from car tires. And we were fortunate those days that they weren't steel belted too, because if they were steel belt, the steel would have probably penetrated their feet. So they weren't steel belted tires at all. And you used thatch rope to tie them up as well. Folks, I want to thank you all. Have a great weekend. Join Sterling Draney Banks at 12:15 for Talk Today. The proceedings at the Parliament will continue to be carried live on 105.3. Have a great weekend. Please stay safe. And we ask the good Lord to bless these 3 beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the record, proudly brought to you by
Coca-Cola. Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery. Inspiring luxury. West Bay Pharmacy. Taking care of your health. And JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital. Always there for you. Call 949-6066. And the Ministry of Sustainability and Climate Resiliency. Visit energy.gov.ky or follow the National Energy Policy on Facebook and Instagram. And by the STEPS 2023 National Health Survey. Visit gov.ky/steps to learn more.
Continuing the Caymanian tradition.
Let Cora keep my ground so clean.
The heart and soul of the Cayman people. Thank you for keeping the culture alive.
There's the news every day. From East End to Georgetown, down into West Bay.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.